This is a story of how a Japanese climber got attacked by a bear, filmed it, put it on YouTube, and went viral. For many people around the world, thinking of Japan immediately brings up images of futuristic technology, big cities always lit up with colorful ads, karaoke clubs, and never-ending concrete jungles. But Japan is also home to thousands of plant and animal species, some native only to the island nation. The landscape is breathtaking. About three-fourths of the landmass is mountains. These mountains are covered in thick forests, and they make for amazing hiking and rock climbing grounds. It was October 1st, 2022, a fine day in Saitama Prefecture, near Japan's capital city of Tokyo. By early morning, the sun was already shining over the mountain slopes. October in Japan is usually warm, and this year brought no exception. The beauty of the day encouraged a well-experienced rock climber to go pursue his hobby on Mount Futago, an 892-meter-high dormant volcano. The man knew that at this time of the year, the mountain has already been closed to the public for nature conservation, but he decided to disregard this decision. After all, he was well experienced, the weather was glorious, the mountain forgiving. There was no reason to fear a little outing on the ashy-white rocks, despite what the local authorities said. The man took his beloved GoPro with him and went on his little adventure. Over the next few hours, he carefully climbed the mountain's ridges, making his way to the summit. The solitude didn't scare him. Instead, it brought him some peace of mind. The wind was gently blowing, the surrounding trees still green, with only some splatters of red here and there. He eventually reached the summit. His arms and legs had that pleasant kind of pain, a testimony to his adventure. The man took the view in, letting it sink in. Then it was time to begin the descent. He put on his GoPro. He wanted to remember this view and the climb down. There was nothing to fear as he made his way down Mount Futago's ridge. He had done these movements thousands of times before. Each step was carefully calculated. His hands were steady, gripping only the sturdiest of the rocks. Despite his confidence, the man knew that one wrong move, a twist of ankle, a slip of hand, was all it would take for him to plummet to the rocks and trees below. Still, he wasn't worried. Confidence is key when dealing with rocky situations. One step here, one hand there, and he would reach the ground soon. At least that's what he thought. There hadn't been any sound to alert what happened next. No ear-splitting roar, no sound of a massive step, not even one huffed, powerful breath. The man was still making his descent when he suddenly felt something was awfully wrong. He looked up in alert, only to be met with one of the most horrifying sights possible. A black bear was running from the summit above, hurrying towards him. In an instant, the bear was upon him, and it opened its huge jaws right in the man's face. The speed of its descent was too great, and for a moment the creature slipped on the rocks below before regaining its footing. As soon as he saw the bear, the man started screaming and yelling. He knew that was likely to scare the bear off, so he tried to make himself sound more dangerous. In truth, he was desperately trying to stay glued to the rocks. Time seemed to stop and accelerate all at once. It was one thing to climb down a steep mountain, but having to do so while being attacked by an angry bear was the stuff of nightmares. The bear was undeterred. It quickly sprang up, easily climbing towards the man. The man screamed in horror, but he wasted no second. He started hammer punching erratically. For an instant, his fist met the hard rock. The pain was harrowing, but nothing compared to the bloody promise of those dagger-sharp jaws. His next punch connected to the bear's paw, which caused the creature to slip and retreat again. But if the climber was determined to survive, the bear was just as determined to end the man. The creature made no sound as he reached the man again. It also made no sound as the man's foot connected to its skull with a powerful kick, one worthy of a warrior. For a moment, it seemed the bear got the idea. Maybe this wasn't an easy fight after all. The creature rushed down in a panic, but in a heartbeat, it decided to try again. The man couldn't believe his bad luck. He kept screaming. When he saw the beast returning for the third time, he made a quick step to the right on another ridge. Animal ways are ultimately unknown to man, even after all of our long shared history. That one small step to the right was what determined the bear to leave running. It seemed the movement confused the animal, rendering it incapable of finding another way to reach the climber. With another yell, the man turned back the way he came to the summit. He was breathing hard, his body reacting to the adrenaline. He rushed up, glancing below him every few seconds, and then it all made sense. There was a cub somewhere below on the rocks. He eventually reached the summit again. His hands were bloody from his desperately holding on to the rocks. He could feel a dull pain in his right wrist. After all, he had been hammering a rock and a bear. But he was alive, and he had the terrifying encounter caught on tape. The climber eventually made his way back home with no more encounters. He uploaded the footage on YouTube. He felt like people needed to see it and maybe learn something from his experience. The man knew that to some degree, it had been his own fault. He invaded bear territory and paid a very small price for it. So why did the bear attack? Japan is home to two bear species, the brown bear and the Asiatic black bear. It was one individual of the latter species that attacked the man. The Asiatic black bear is usually medium-sized, and it lives among trees, on mountains and hills. These bears are known to be especially aggressive towards humans. There are other reasons bears attack, besides this particular species' innate aggressiveness, such as a surprise encounter or encountering a bear with cubs. The unlucky Japanese climber checked both of these reasons. To start with, during his descent, he had been entirely quiet. Tourists are usually advised to make some kind of noise in order to alert the bears and scare them off. The rock climber actually had a bear bell on him, but he had muted it when descending because he believed it was, well, too noisy. Secondly, he had the great misfortune of encountering a mama bear. It is widely known that female bears are insanely protective of their cubs, and they will not hesitate before tearing apart a potential threat. When something like this happens, it's crucial to think fast and act without even flinching. Sure, it's better to listen to the authorities and not invade bear country, but sometimes such encounters are unexpected, and it's important to know what to do. If a bear seems uninterested, it's best to retreat slowly and sideways without scaring it. But if the bear is furious, fighting back is not an option. It's a must. The Japanese climber acted the way he was supposed to. He kept yelling in order to appear larger and more dangerous, and he did not hesitate before starting to hit the bear. He thanked his karate and mixed martial arts background for his ability to kick the bear the way he did. Do you think you'd be able to fight a bear with your own hands? Or do you think you wouldn't be in that kind of situation in the first place? Let us know what you think in the comments.